Okay, so we saw the background that professional ethics is required, it is important. There are five sources: C Act, then below that rules, below that regulation, below that guidelines, and then International Code of Ethics. These are the five sources of ethics, and they are beautifully drafted into Code of Ethics booklet. There are three volumes. Volume 1 is based on International Code of Ethics, applicable from 1st of January 2020. Volume 2 is for, it is including CA Act and schedules, and volume 3 is covering the judgments. The five fundamental principles, if you want to be ethical: integrity, then objectivity, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and confidentiality. Our motto is based on ethics: ya esha sapteshu jagriti. That means you should be alert and careful even if world is not. If you see volume 1, part 1 is applicable to all the chartered accountants, and it talks about fundamental principle and its implementation. If you see part 2, it gives additional matters only for chartered accountant in service, wherever they are doing service. If you see, even if COP holder is doing job, part 2 will get applicable. Part 3 is applicable additional matters for chartered accountants who are in public practice. Part 4 is again for chartered accountants who are in public practice, and these are special independent standards. How to maintain subpart A, how to maintain independence in audit and review engagement. Subpart B, how to maintain independence in assurance assignment other than audits and review, that will be certificates. And then glossary. Then if we talk about, in these parts you are going to find sections and subsections. So there is a structure. There are three parts: introduction, requirement, and application. Introduction, you will find background of the topic, overview of what is going to come, and important definition. In requirement, they are going to specify what are the in general obligation to be followed every time, everywhere, and what are specific situation related obligations and duties. And then application part, they are going to give factors and examples to implement these things properly. Then if we talk about section 100, it simply says that code of ethics is applicable to everyone. If any law says part of the code of ethics will not be applicable, only that part will not be applicable, rest will be applicable. Section 110 gives fundamental principles, which we have already seen. It is mandatory that everyone follows these principles. If there's a conflict between these principles, then you should go and consult others, your colleagues, bigger than that legal counsel, that means lawyers, bigger than TCWG, or bigger than that ICAI. You should go and discuss. Discussion doesn't mean that everything, your responsibilities are over. You have to apply judgment and resolve the issues. That will be your responsibility. Sometimes you may think of disassociating, resigning also. Whatever it is, document what was the issue, what was the discussion, what was the decision, what was the reason of the decision. Integrity, you have to follow, be honest and truthful when you work, support honesty. Then suppose you are associated with a team where the reports, returns, or communication, and you find that and if you come to know that false misleading information is there in these reports, returns, or information, then you have two options: either it should be reported, you modify report, or you disassociate yourself. Objectivity, when you accept assignment, think carefully that your professional judgments during this assignment should not get influenced, and after accepting also, just ensure that you should not buckle down under any pressure, and you should not work for only personal, you should not work for undue personal benefits. So just ensure you are not under influence of others, and secondly, you are not working just giving importance to your personal benefit. Manage conflict of interest properly and your biases, personal biases. When we talk about professional competence and due care, it means to maintain skills, maintain knowledge and skills, and due care means working thoroughly, carefully, thoroughly, and on timely basis. For professional competence, you should be aware what are the changes which are happening. You should go for trainings that improve your knowledge and skills, and you should ensure your team knowledge and skills are also improved. Even if you have good skills, just always inform client that there are always inherent limitations of the assignment. There are few things you cannot do anything, just like there are inherent limitations of audit. Confidentiality, you have to maintain confidentiality. So there are examples. Suppose you go and meet prospective clients or employer, whatever information you get, maintain confidentiality. You come back to office, you party, okay, you got the work, but then again maintain confidentiality within office also. You go back to home, you're happy, again maintain confidentiality with others, friends and relatives also. Then you do team meetings, explain everyone that confidentiality should be there. You get the call from brokers about investment. Don't use information for personal or benefits or anyone else benefit. Even if the client work is over on the last, after that we have to maintain confidentiality. There are three exceptions. You can break confidentiality if it is required by law, if it is required by law, or if it is required by law, or it is authorized by client, or it is professional duty or right. These three they further explain. Required by law, sometimes if there are in legal proceedings you have to speak up as per law, or there is a contravention you have to speak up, but in India there is no such law. Second, authorized by client, there are no examples. Then next is you do it for your duty or protect yourself. Shortcut is reels. So it is your right. Review, peer review, quality review, you can speak up, give confidential information. Inquiry, investigation against you, speak up. Legal proceedings against you, speak up. Or if any standard says, it is your duty to write in reports and certificates. If you're giving confidential information, whether to give not and how to give, see these factors, hats. Is it harmful? Is it how harmful it is for everyone? Whom it should be addressed? T, type of communication. And S, is it substantiated? Is it proper? Even if there's a change, you have to maintain confidentiality. Then professional behavior. Professional behavior, two things. You have to respect law, rules, and regulation, and you have to respect law, rules, and regulation, and don't do anything which bring disrepute, discredit to the institute. So, especially while promoting yourself, be honest, truthful. Don't make exaggerated claims about yourself or your services. Don't insult, disparaging comment on others. Don't go against advertisement guidelines. If you are in doubt, you should ask ethical standard board what should be done. Now, they say that when you go for this fundamental principle, you have to do three things. Identify threats. Threats means any situation which are going to put pressure on you to break these fundamental principles or independence. Then you're supposed to evaluate threats. You're supposed to evaluate threats. Are they of acceptable limits? And then address threats. There can be five kind of threats. I am fair is the shortcut. I for interest. See whether there's a situation where financial or other interest benefits are attached to the client, putting pressure on you. See whether the people in the client are very familiar, close relative of yours. Family threat, advocacy threat. If you're doing two type of assignments, you are doing audit, at the same time you are promoting their shares or defending them as an advocate in any litigation, then advocacy threat. Intimidation threat, they are pressurizing you to give wrong reports, that is intimidation. And then review threat, self review threat. If you're checking your own work, like you only made the system, you only made the data, then it's a self review threat. They are giving examples. Self-interest threat, shortcut is BP limited. So BP increases, BP limited. If there is business relationship, there is a self-interest threat. If there is a personal gain attached, there is self-interest threat. Potential employment in available, self-interest threat. You fear losing the client, self-interest threat. There are big portion of total fees come from your self-interest threat. Direct financial interest in the form of equity debt, self-interest threat. Then family threat. Director sitting in the company, there's a close or immediate family relationship with director or with the officer of the client, or the employee who is involved in preparing financial statement subject matter, or our former partner is now a director of the company, partner is now officer of the company, partner is now employee of the company, partner is now employee of the company. Correct. So this will lead to family threat. Long association with the client, family threat. Advocacy threat. You are doing audit, at the same time you are promoting shares. Or you are acting as an advocate. You are acting as an advocate in litigation disputes, or you are at the same time lobbying for the company. Threaten. If people are threatening that you will be changed, replaced, or you will not get the promotions, or you have to do it because we are seniors, you don't understand, pressurizing you with that, or they are blackmailing that you have taken significant gift from us, now we will disclose it to everyone. That is intimidation threat. Self review threat, you only prepared for internal control systems, financial systems, you only made original data, books of accounts, and you're checking. Apart from that, there can be unique threats like religion, political, kidnapping. Now threats, you have to evaluate the threat. It should be of acceptable limit. How you will ensure that is of acceptable limit? You have to apply RITPT, reasonable informed third party test. So Suppose all the information available with you, if you give it to any reasonable, knowledgeable third party, whether their conclusion and your conclusion are same. If it is same, that means you are on the correct path. Now, you can do it simply by thinking about it, imagining it, or you can simply meet a person. You can meet a person, give this information, and understand their conclusion. The person may not be a chartered accountant. Person can be company secretary, lawyer also, who is knowledgeable, aware of the situation, who is knowledgeable, will be able to interpret and take good decisions. Addressing threats, there can be three things which are possible. First is eliminating them, and eliminate the threats, or apply safeguards, reduce the threat, and if that is not possible, third is disassociate, resign from the assignment. You have to apply it in the same sequence. If you talk about safeguards, so there's a safeguards are the things which reduces threats, like you can have separate teams for confidential information and other. Then perform reperform the sensitive areas of the assignment by involving another firm. Then you can have additional team and staff for particular area. And then you can have a reviewer who is not a team member. Again, to reduce the threat. Or you can have different partners and engagement team for doing audit work and non-audit work. NOCLAR, if there is a non-compliance, what should be done? NOCLAR explains if there is a non-compliance, what should be done by chartered accountants. It gives explanation both for chartered accountant in service and chartered accountant in practice. Non-compliance with, you are going against the law, either you're not following it, or you're simply you're doing wrong things as per the law. But then non-compliance is of only client, its TCWG, management and employees covered, and or if you're doing job, employers TCWG, management or client. So non-compliance of limited number of people are covered. If there is a personal misconduct, that means that is not related to the business or profession, then what to do in such circumstances is not governed by NOCLAR. If a non-compliance by other party, it is not covered by NOCLAR. Example of the situation, example of the non-compliances you are going to come across. You may come across financial crimes like terrorist financing, below that money laundering, below that bribery, corruption, below that insider trading, below that fraud, below that tax evasions. And then you may come across non-compliances for financial matters. Products and services are not properly framed. The consumer data is not properly protected. You may come across other non-compliances also, like environmental laws are not followed, public health and safety laws are not followed. Objective of NOCLAR is people should respond. Responsibilities of management TCW are going to remain same. It is their responsibility to comply with law, rules and regulations. Their responsibility to prevent, detect and correct non-compliances. Our responsibility is simply to respond. Some important things. As NOCLAR is applicable, that means that doesn't mean that we need higher level of legal knowledge. We need to maintain the same level of legal knowledge which is required to perform assignment. That means, does that mean our duties have increased? No, not at all. Our duties are not increased. All duties and responsibilities are with the TCWG and management only. Our duty is only to respond properly to no compliance. Does that mean that we are going to cover all the kinds of non-compliance coverage? No. We are not going to cover personal misconduct. We are not going to cover non-compliance by other parties. We are not going to cover inconsequential small matters. Does that mean that we inform authorities about every non-compliance? No, not at all. Only in certain situations, if conditions are fulfilled, then you need to go and inform the appointing authority. Now NOCLAR versus SA 250. Assignment coverage. NOCLAR is applicable to all the practicing CAs doing all the work, all the chartered accountant doing job, all the kind of jobs, degree of response changes. SA 250 is only for practicing chartered accountant doing audit. So assignment coverage is broader in NOCLAR. Law coverage, it says all the laws which is having direct effect on the financial statement or which may have direct effect on financial statement, plus all other laws having financial or non-financial impact. Coverage is bigger. In SA 250, it only focuses on the laws which are affecting financial statements and going concern. Impact. In NOCLAR, it says sees impact on the investors, creditors, employees, company, everyone. But in 250, it says only see impact on financial statements and going concern. That's it. NOCLAR says that if conditions are fulfilled, you may go to appointing authority. But SA 250 says that don't go to authority till the time law says to do it. So there is a change in the approach. NOCLAR says that if there's an imminent, very big breach, there's a harmful impact, you have to go to appointing authority. Whether to inform TCWG and management is your call. If you think that it will be better, inform them. If you think that it is not going to help, it is going to worsen situation, directly go to the authority, not just appointing authority. NOCLAR applicability. NOCLAR is international. NOCLAR says that applicable to everyone, those in practice and job. But in India, it says that it's applicable only to chartered accountant in practice doing audit of listed companies and chartered accountant in job doing job at the listed entities. Applicant from 1st April 2022, 1st April 2022, and uh, applicability is given in section 260 for the people who are doing job and 360 for people who are in practice. If we talk about responding to NOCLAR, so it is given in two parts. Separately, it is given for those who are in practice, those who are in job. In fact, in job, there's further there's a division. What should senior chartered accountants do, and what should other chartered accountants do? Those who are in job. Now, glimpse of what should chartered accountants do. Those who are in job. Suppose there's a non-compliance, first understand the matter, then address the matter, inform seniors, explain them what should be done, what should not be done. Then think about further action. It can be going to management of the parent entity or resigning. Or next, it can be going to, if required, going to appropriate authority, informing them about the non-compliance. But for this, you should seek advice. So you should seek advice what should be done. If there's an imminent breach and harmful impact, you should definitely go to outside authority, and you should document about the NOCLAR. What should be documented? If NOCLAR happens, what was the NOCLAR, what management, TCWG management did, what you did, how you ensured public interest. Standards on auditing also says that SA 230, 250, that this important matter, you should document what was the matter, what was the discussion, what were the important points, what were the judgments taken regarding that, what were the decisions with the rationale. Then C Act, we saw section 2, subsection 2, members deemed to be in practice. Members deemed to be in practice, it is simply a list of activities. If people are doing these activities, they'll be deemed to be in practice, but if it is for remuneration or professional capacity, deeming fiction will be applicable. If it is without remuneration, personal capacity for friends, relatives or social work, it will not be applicable. If you're working as an employee capacity for others, it will not be applicable. So the list is first, practice related work. Chartered accountant describe himself as a public accountant, deemed to be in practice. Sets up office, deemed to be in practice. Offers or performs to perform, deemed to be in practice. Now there's an exception. It is applicable only to those who are doing job. If you're doing job with CA firm, again deemed to be in practice for limited purpose of training article, but not obligations. So it's not a contradiction. It's definitely an exception is given. Then if you're doing job at armed forces, then section 2, subsection 2, clause 4 says that you can do addition, your institute can increase the list. So they issued regulation 191. If you're executor, individual, if you're doing executing will of individual, if you're trustee of the trust, if you're receiver liquid of the company or administrator, arbitrator or advisor of tax costing finance, then again you're deeming fiction. If you're having special appointment, you are secretary to the ministries as per appointment by court, central government, state government, again deeming fiction. But if you're on salary or full-time basis, no deeming fiction is applicable. Then management consultancy services. Management consultancy services. The second list which they have issued is management consult. The second list which they have issued is management consultant services. There are two implications. Those who are doing this work will be deemed to be in practice. Those who are doing this work will be deemed to be in practice. That is one thing. And second thing, chartered accountants who are in practice, their scope of work has increased because of this. Management consultancy services, it's a simple list to implication. If people are doing this, they will be deemed to be in practice. And it is a clarification that those who are in practice, they can do these things. Great thing, it can be done either in traditional form, individual partnership, or it can be done in a corporate form. Some things which are very sensitive cannot be done in a corporate form. They have excluded them from management consultancy services. First of all, they have excluded periodic audits, that's sensitive, then tax advisory, and then activities given in regulation 191. You cannot do these things. Apart from that, as per section 25, accounting work cannot be done in a corporate form. So ultimately, four things cannot be done in corporate form. They have given these exclusions. So they have given these exclusions so that it should not be done in corporate form. Then this list: prior to incorporation, feasibility project reports; post incorporation, capital structure planning, raising finance; for that, valuation of services; for that, and then for raising finance, advisor to public issue work, prospectus, publicity, agents, brokers, appointing them, post issue work, and then after issue, you acting as registrar and share transfer agent. Even that is in MCS. After money is raised, you can do planning work, business policy, corporate planning, organization development. After planning is done, then capital budgets, revenue budgets, cash budgets. After planning is done, you can go for staffing. You can help in recruiting employees and training them, making organization structure for them, incentive plans for them. After staffing, you can help in administrative, mechanical work, maintaining Word, Excel records, filling up forms and returns, keeping track of the dates when filing should be done, and finally submitting the forms. You can do all the work which a GST practitioner can normally do. Then after everything is there, then comes production. Production is work of engineers, but you can help in working capital. You can help in having working capital management, working capital management. And then in that, inventory management, management accounting, cost control, MIS, value analysis. After production is done, you can help in market research and demand studies. You can help in fixing prices. After that, you can help in recovery. You can act as a recovery consultant in banking sector. You can help in you can act as a recovery consultant in banking sector. Even that is allowed. Then after money is earned, you can make profitability statements, fund flow statement, cash flow statements. After money is earned, you can help them manage the money. You can make financial management policy. You can go for investment counseling advisory. You cannot go for broking, underwriting, portfolio management. You can go for amalgamation, merger advisory. After everything is done, you can help in special audits. Special audits, management audit, operation audit, quality audit, energy audit, environment audit. You can help in making systems and insurance. You can help in insurance, financial advisory, insurance brokerage. After that, you can help in closing the company, insolvency professionals. Pure tax work cannot be done, but when you make feasibility reports, project report, capital structure planning, working capital management planning, or financial management policy, you can explain tax aspects. That's okay. Under section 4, in regular route, you appear for exams, to complete the training, you can become member. You can use foreign route. You pass exams and do training outside India, and then you can come to India and apply for membership, but you have to fulfill certain conditions as per central government or council. So it can be done only if there is a MOU, MRA, and you have to appear generally for 4 papers. For membership, CA Institute can charge fees up to 3,000 rupees. If they take permission, they can charge up to 6,000 rupees. Once you become member of the CA Institute, you become associate chartered accountant. And if you become senior, you can apply for fellow chartered accountant. When you can apply, if you are associate chartered accountant and you are in continuous practice for 5 years or more, you can apply for it. If you are associate chartered accountant for 5 years or more, but not in practice, still you can apply if you prove that your knowledge and skills are equivalent to a person who is in practice for 5 years. How you can prove that? If you prove that you are doing job for 5 years or more under any statutory body, government entities, commercial entities, private entities in a field of accounts, audit, costing, tax, law, IT, then you can apply for FCA, or if you're working with CA firm, you can apply for FCA. Even if there is a break of 1 year, it will be condoned, and foreign job experience will be considered. So people with practice experience can also go for it, job experience can also go for it. As per section 6, COP is mandatory for doing practice, whether you are practicing in India or outside India. If there's a temporary suspension of COP or membership, still you are governed by CA Act. And if you want to do in that situation, if you want to do any of the CA related work, if you are governed by CA Act, you want to do any CA related work, you can use only capacity of a chartered accountant to do that. And if you want to use CA capacity, you need COP. That means during the period of temporary suspension, you cannot use any other capacity to do CA related work. You have to stop doing CA related work when there is a temporary suspension. If you're working as an employee, if you're representing your employer in tax cases, then that is not practice. We are working in employee capacity. But apart from employment, if you're helping your colleagues, to do for filing or financing, then that will be considered as practice. You need COP for that. CA Institute has allowed dual COP with Bar Council of India, but they have not allowed it, so practically it is not possible. Even if it gets allowed, you cannot use designation, chartered accountant and advocate together. Cancellation, COP can be cancelled if the name is removed, or after that if it was issued on the basis of wrong information or annual fees is unpaid, or member has surrendered his COP. Restoration will happen, just simply fill up the required form and give required fees. COP restoration will be done. If cancellation is for non-payment of fees and fees is paid before end of the financial year, that is 31st of March, your COP will get restored from the same date it got cancelled. So there will be not break in the continuity of the COP. Section 7 talks about three things. Prefix. Any person who becomes chartered accountant, whether pay in practice or not, can use the prefix CA. CA students cannot use it till they become CA. If you are out from the position of member of ICA, you cannot use two words CA. Below your name there is designation. CA in practice can use only one designation, and that is chartered accountant. No addition, deletion, substitution. CA in practice is option. Either use chartered accountant or use anything else what they want. Then you cannot modify the designation industrial accountant, cost accountant, etc. If you become a merchant banker, then in prospectus or issue related documents, your name can come under advisor to issue or consultant to issue. But in visiting card and letterhead, it should be only chartered accountant. Then below that comes other descriptions or letters. You can write qualification and memberships there. If the qualification and membership is from other accountancy body, prior permission from Council of ICAI will be required. They have given permission to CMA to write ACMA, FCMA. They have given permission to those institute with whom we are having MOU, MRA. You can write their name. England, Ireland, South Africa, Canada, Australia. Dual COP we have discussed. You cannot, even if there is a situation of dual COP, you cannot use designations together. You cannot write CPA because it is not yet allowed. You cannot write CFA because it is not yet allowed. You cannot write directorships. You cannot write position of political parties or position of CSL of political parties or any clubs. Now, can you write any other qualifications? Can you write any other qualifications or membership? Yes. You can write LLB MBA. You can write LLB MBA. You can write insolvency professional. You can write insolvency professional. But you should not mention degrees from CS or CMA. You can write registered valuer. Below name of the firm, you can write chartered accountants if all the partners are CA having COP. Disqualification, if not attained the age of 21, if the person is of unsound mind, if the person is insolvent, undischarged insolvent, discharged but not having misfortune certificate, or convicted by court for moral turpitude by imprisonment or transportation. There are three exceptions. If the conviction is technical nature or it is of technical nature, or some professional work is not done, or if pardon is granted by the victim, or central government removes disability. And fifth, his name is removed from membership, he will be disqualified. He himself will have to inform about the disqualification at the time of taking membership or after that. If he doesn't inform himself, he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Insolvency goes through 3 stages. Court first declares person insolvent, then sells assets and pay off the liability, that is called discharging, and then the court gives misfortune certificate. Only after getting misfortune certificate, the person will become eligible. Section 20 FDR, removal of name from register. If fees is not paid, remove name. D, death, remove name. Disqualified, remove name. Removal of the name by order, remove name. Request to remove name, remove name. After name is removed, name can be restored if in prescribed application you apply with along with all the pending fees, your name will be restored. See, if it is removed by order, restoration will happen as per the date given in the order. If in the year in which cancellation has happened, in the same year you fulfill all the requirement and apply in proper form and fees, your restoration will be happening from the date on which it was cancelled, so that you don't miss the continuity. There is no break in the continuity of the membership. If you apply in any different year, if you apply in any different year, date of activation will be from the date on which you apply. There are 2 types of misconduct. If activities, professional misconduct and other misconduct. If you're doing wrong things while performing profession, it's called professional misconduct. If you're doing activities which are considered misconduct, whether it's professional work or personal work, covering both, it is called other misconduct. Professional misconduct is given in first schedule, first 3 parts, second schedule, first 2 parts. Other misconduct is given in first schedule, part 4, second schedule, part 3. Institute can go and investigate any other matter which is done by chartered accountants and declare it other misconduct. So you get other misconduct from the schedule also and other misconduct from past decided cases also. Example, A for anger, abusing objectionable language. A for anger, giving false information with malified intent to malign image of others, asking article to do non-professional work. Then in bank audit, submitting fake documents to get to claim expenses. Then C for clan, using coercion to get fees, using coercion to get loan approved from him or his friends or relatives. Then retaining books of accounts of client without any valid reason. In fact, even if fees is pending, you cannot retain the books. Then deceiving, going to client office and manipulating minute books, giving fake documents to them as issued from ROC or any authority. Coming to his own office, issuing fake experience certificate to people for money, going to home and forging will of the relatives. Then submitting fake experience certificate to employer for job. Then being gross negligent in the job. Then F is for fraud. F is for fraud, misappropriating money by a central council member, regional council member, or his checks are getting bounced for lack of funds, insufficient funds. Even Negotiable Instrument Act will get applicable. Then government is calling you but you are not going, that's other misconduct. When government comes to you, they get confidential information or documents which are stolen from the government, other misconduct. Looting government, writing book on black money, how to generate black money, filing 2 returns, getting exemption 2 times, fabricating advance tax challans and getting refund in the fake account and misappropriating the money. All these are other misconducts. Then there are disciplinary authorities. At the bottom we have disciplinary directorate, section 21, bigger than that BOD, section 21A, bigger than disciplinary committee, 21B, bigger than that appellate authority, section 22A to G. They all have civil court powers. If anyone has a problem with any chartered accountant, if C has done something wrong, give complaint to disciplinary directorate. They will form prima facie opinion. If they think it is first schedule, if there is a misconduct of first schedule, they will send it to the BOD. If they feel it is second schedule or both schedule, they will send to disciplinary committee. If they think that misconduct has not happened, they will send to BOD to take further action, whether to continue the case, investigate the case or close the case. BOD is for first schedule, DC is for second schedule and both schedules. There are 3 members in BOD, 5 members in DC. In BOD, 1 member comes from council, 1 from CG and chairman from council. In DC, 2 members from council, 2 members from CG and chairman, vice chairman is president and vice president by default. There is only 1 BOD, but there can be multiple benches of disciplinary committee. BOD follows summary disposal procedure. DC follows specified disposal procedure. When it comes to BOD, they can reprimand, even DC can reprimand. BOD can remove for 3 months, they can remove permanently. BOD can remove, then fine up to 1 lakh, DC can fine up to 5 lakhs. If anyone is unhappy from decision of Board of Discipline or Disciplinary Committee, aggrieved person or CA or director discipline after taking permission of ICI can go to Appellate Authority. Appellate Authority will have past High Court judge as a chairman, 2 past council members, 2 government nominees will be there. Their tenure will be 3 years. Retirement age of chairman 65 years, member 62 years. They can confirm or increase, decrease penalty, modify order, set aside order, or send back the case for re-investigation. They should give opportunity of being heard. They can resign, but they will not be relieved immediately. It will be 3 months or new person or expiry of the term, whichever happens earlier. They can be removed. It's a proven misbehavior, incapacity. CG will do inquiry and remove after opportunity of being heard. If non-CA acts as CA, non-COP holder claims that he is having COP or any institute acts like a CA institute, first time fine will be 1,000, second time 5,000 or imprisonment of 6 months or both. If a CA incorporates company for accountancy services or makes a LLP for accountancy services where one of the partners is CA, it is not allowed. First time 1,000, second time 5,000. If a non-CA signs and does forgery on behalf of CA firm, it's a very big crime. First time 5,000 to 1 lakh rupees and second time 10,000 to 2 lakh rupees. You can open any number of branches, but there should be a separate in charge. In charge should be CA, should be a chartered accountant, may or may not be in practice. He should be associated as a partner or a full-time employee. He should have active association. He should have active association. Either he should reside in the same city for not less than 182 days, or he should attend the office for not less than 182 days, or he should prove that he is having active association to executive committee. There are 2 exemptions. First exemption of second office, if it is situated in same premises or located in same city, or it is within 50 kilometers from the municipal limit of the city in which first office is there. Second exemption is for offices which are in hilly area. You can open temporary office for 3 months before opening inform CA institute, after closing inform CA institute. You can have a temporary board for 3 months, but then board should be removed after that, and name should not be there in visiting card and letterhead. Regular office can continue during this time, no problem at all. It is specially for winter season, but Board of Studies says that it can be for any. If a person can be in charge for 2 branches if they are in the same accommodation. At home you can have your name board and you can write designation chartered accountant, but you cannot write firm name. Firm name cannot be used. Under section 27(2), you have to intimate regarding opening and closing of branches to ICI as per regulation 189. It should be within 1 month. So under section 28A to 28D, a quality review board should be formed. There will be 11 members, 6 of them chairman, and 5 members will be nominated by central government, and 5 members will be nominated by the ICAI. People will be from economics, finance, business, accounts, law. Their work will be to go and see what is the quality of services given by chartered accountants, then to guide CAs to do better quality and to send recommendations to council how to improve quality. We took the overview. First schedule has part 1, 12 clauses, part 2, 2 clauses, part 3, 3 clauses, part 4, 2 clauses. Second schedule has part 1, 10 clauses, part 2, 4 clauses, part 3, 1 clause. So total there are 34 clauses. We talk about the shortcut. Nargis, Paresh Rawal, Alia Bhatt, Prabhudeva. So Nargis, who can work in the name of the CA firm, Paresh Rawal paying share of the fees, Alia Bhatt accepting share of the fees, Prabhudeva is for partnership. Then we have rightward looking Scorpio, then Audi, then leftward looking Duster and Camry. Scorpio securing work. Who can secure work for CA firm? Audi, you cannot do advertisement. Duster, you cannot use any other designation. Camry, communication with previous auditor. Then you can see Temple, that is Ranchi, then Fort, Firozabad, then Iconic Hotel, Bombay, and then Idol of God, that is Shirdi. Ranchi, requirement of Companies Act. Firozabad, that is for fees. Bombay, that is for business or occupation. Shirdi, that is for signature. Who can sign on behalf of CA firm? Then first schedule part 2, Ekta Tiger, that is for CN service. It was emoluments, with whom you can share emoluments. Ashiki, that is from whom you can accept share of the fees. Part 3. Part 3, that is, you can see yellow fafda and then sweet rasgulla and then tea, fafda. People cannot, they call themselves fellow chartered accountant when they are not. Then rasgulla, if you don't reply to CA Institute, it's a misconduct. T is for tender, you cannot give false information. First schedule, part 4, other misconduct. Other misconduct, the imprisonment. Imprisonment, if you are imprisoned, it will lead to other misconduct. If you do something, clause 2, if you do something which brings disrepute, shame on you, it will again be other misconduct. First schedule, part 1 is applicable for all the CAs in practice. Clause number 1, who can work on behalf of CA firm? Who can work on behalf of CA firm? He should be a good person, he should be CA in practice, associated as a partner or as an employee. Then clause 2, paying share of the fees. Paying share of the fees. CA in practice can pay, agree to pay, or allow to deduct share of the fees in the form or in the name of share, brokerage, or commission with 3 types of members: members of ICAI, members of professional bodies, and members having qualification. When we talk about members of professional bodies, list is given in regulation 53A. Clause 1 about Indian professional bodies, clause 2 about foreign professional bodies. When it comes to Indian professional bodies, it is member of CS Institute, member of CW Institute, member of Bar Council of India, member of Indian Institute of Architect, member of Indian Institute of Actuary. Okay. And when it comes to members of foreign professional bodies, all the foreign professional bodies with whom we have MOU, MRA under section 29. Okay. Then when we talk, there are partner related points. We can pay share to partner, retired partner, legal of the deceased partner if that was specified. That was specified in the partnership deed. Then we saw special case of transfer of goodwill. If a proprietor or individual CA dies, or if all the partners die, then in this case, new chartered accountant who is taking new CA will not be able to share profits with the legal heir because he was never partner on the paper. But then he can buy goodwill. Price should be fixed. It should be one stroke or installment. Procedure is very simple. Application, you need to put a death certificate, succession certificate, draft sale deed without signature, clear payment terms. No objection should be there from no objection certificate from legal heir, newspaper advertisement, and a copy to regional office. If it is approved within 30 days, fill up the form 18 and get the firm name in your name. You will get 1 year. 1 year to do all these things. If there's a dispute, inform institute. You will get 1 year from the end of the dispute within the legal hires. Clause number 3, accepting share of the fees. You can accept share of the fees from 3 people: member of ICI, member having prescribed, member of prescribed professional bodies, and members having prescribed qualification. List is completely same as we have seen in clause number 2. No change at all. Then clause number 4, we can have partnership with member of ICI, but the change is he should be in practice. Then we can do partnership with member of professional bodies, Indian bodies and professional bodies. Indian bodies and professional bodies. When come to Indian bodies, correct, it is given in regulation 53B1, foreign bodies 53B2. Indian bodies, the list is same, only one increase is there, one addition is there: member of Indian Institute of Engineering. Foreign bodies, it is same, plus one clarification: if foreign professionals come to India and become member in MOU, MRA, we can do partnership with them also. Members having qualification, list remains exactly same, no change at all. Then if you do partnership in India or outside India, same rules, regulations are applicable, no change at all. For MDP, CA Institute has issued the guidelines, but guidelines are not yet issued by the other institutes, so practically MDP is not possible. When it comes to number of partners, we can have unlimited number of partners. Clause number 5, from whom we can secure work. We can secure work, who can secure work for us? Our partner can go and secure work for us, employee can do it, we cannot appoint agents. And the means should be ethical, it should not be unethical. And apart from that, referring work to each other under clause 2, 3, 4 is absolutely allowed, no problem with that. Clause number 6, we cannot solicit client directly, indirectly through interviews, advertisements, personal communication, circular, or any other means. What is allowed? You can go to other CA in practice, you can go and apply in tender. If it is in exclusive CA areas, it should have minimum fees. Where others can apply, you don't need to see minimum fees. Then clarification. Registrar bans violent movies and promotes public counseling. R stand for responding to tender. Number one, we have seen minimum fees. If area is reserved for CS, then minimum fee is required. If it is not reserved for CA, no minimum fees requirement. When it comes to EMD deposit requirement, CA institute is not going to interfere. If it is exorbitant, then in that case, CA institute may interfere. Cost sheet should be maintained for all the tenders you have filled. CA institute can call for the details. When it comes to empanelment, people maintain panel, you can definitely apply if you have prior knowledge about the existence of the panel from some official sources. Roving inquiries cannot be done. You should not quote fees on your own. You should not send a menu card of the fees. If they ask for it, then only specify. Then greeting cards, you can write chartered accountant designation form only if it is sent to relatives, friends and clients, and the purpose should be greeting card or invitation for religious ceremony, less important than the marriage, then opening of new office and change of office. Again, all these events should belong to that particular member. Then introduction to client of another CA. If one CA introduces you to some client, you cannot accept the original work of that CA if it is offered by client to you. If any other professional work is offered to you, you should ask him to go through the original CA. He should be kept in loop. Nothing should be at its back. We cannot sponsor any activities, but we can sponsor events which are organized by program organizing unit of ICA, and it should be approved by CP Directorate of ICA. When it comes to CSR activities, we can do that. Only prefix CA is allowed. Firm name and CA logo is not permitted. No firm name and CA logo is permitted. Even CA logo is not permitted. When it comes to silver, gold and platinum sanitary celebrations, you can put newspaper advertisement for event. As such, you cannot put for other events, but only for these events you can put newspaper advertisement. When it comes to teaching, permission is required under clause number 11. And then you should not put any kind of advertisement that is not allowed. If a coaching class is putting advertisement, your name cannot be there. You can put the name board in front of the coaching class. Name of the subject can be there and contact details can be there, but then no name of the professor here also. You cannot do roving inquiry. Just like in circular, you cannot do roving inquiry with the people through calls or through emails or through circulars and simply keep offering your services even when you don't know whether they need service or not. When it comes to advertisement, no newspaper advertisement, no circular, no pamphlets, no personal canvassing is allowed. But then the exception is if there is change in partnership name or constitution or dissolution is there or telephone number has changed, you can put advertisement simply prescribing the fact that these have changed. And then classified advertisement can be given in the chartered accountant journal. If you have work, you can give advertisement for sharing of the work. You can seek partnership from people. You can seek salaried employees. On assignment basis, you can ask people to come and work for you. You can explain what kind of expertise is required. But then again, no firm name, only name of the individual chartered accountant, his address, contact details, social networking, site details can also be there. Representation, definitely CA who is replaced, he can go for representation, but then he should specify only that he worked independently, conscientiously, and he is willing to continue. No needless publicity and no boosting his work. We can definitely write book, and firm name is also allowed. In book, but then no highlighting of professional attainments. No advertisement through box numbers also. It is not allowed. When it comes to education videos, make education videos, but no firm name, no contact details, no website. When it comes to movies or television credit, it can be given. Firm name is allowed, but it should not be shown differently. It should not be better or highlighted more than others. Prospective clients, don't share your profile on your own. Whenever they ask question, give details. When it comes to interviews, give interviews. You can give firm name also, but then not highlighting professional attainments. That is not allowed. Seeking work from professional colleagues. You can go to professional colleagues, go for personal communication, meetings, calls, email is also allowed. But then you cannot put newspaper advertisements or circulars and asking work from everyone. Let's see. In clause number 7, two things you need to take care of. First, you cannot use any other designation, same as section 7. And you cannot advertise professional attainments. Then there is a exception. There is a exception of write-up. We are going to study about this along with advertisement guidelines. Clarifications of clause number 7. Friends Lab Dr. Nene. F stand for firm name. Okay. So in this, you can use prefix CA along with your name whenever, wherever you want. But when it comes to designation, firm name, it should be only on visiting card, letterhead, and professional documents only. When it comes to size of the signboard, you should apply your discretion. It should be of good taste. It should be easily visible. Size should be such that it should be visible, and there should be enough illumination lighting on it. Again, it should be visible. It should not be glow signboard, extraordinary large board, just like shopkeepers, traders, or restaurants, everyone they put. It should not be like that. And at residence, you need to put name board with your name and designation, not the firm name. Logo, you cannot have your own logos. You cannot write firm name in a special manner. No monograms allowed. Everyone is supposed to follow one common logo, whether in practice or not. And the logo is simple, round triangle is there, white background, blue color CA, and upside down tick mark, green color. When it comes to appearance in internet, films, television, radio, lectures, at forum, in all this, if you want to appear in these, you can appear in them, and you can also specify firm name, but it should not be exaggerated. It should not lead to promotion, or firm should not be compared with someone else. That should not be done. When it comes to public importance, yes, you can definitely hold position which are of public importance. You can become MP, MLA. You can give speeches. You can give your opinion. You should always refer that you are a chartered accountant. Increase value and image of CA Institute, but don't write firm name. You can take seminar for your own staff or staff of other chartered accountants or your client. Your name can be there in booklet. It should not be overemphasized. You should not put firm name again. Then if we talk about directors, so the situation is when you talk about directors, you can become director. You should inform the company that whenever you make any public announcement, prospectus or public communication, and your name is there, that particular material should be first it should be approved by you, because clause 6 and clause 7 are applicable. You can write that you are a chartered accountant. You can write directorship of other companies, but no firm name, no highlighting professional attainments. That is not allowed. Date of setting up of practice, year of establishment cannot be put on visiting card, letterheads. That is not allowed. You cannot say that you are better than others. When it comes to reports and certificate, you sign those reports and certificates. It should not be circulated or distributed in quantum which is not necessary, in more than what is necessary to get publicity. That is not allowed. If you're RCM, CCM members, you can have your visiting card, office address or residential address can be there, but not firm name. If any student becomes CA, definitely a press note can be given. Details of student can be given. What he has passed, his achievements can be given. Even the firm name, principal name can be given, but no undesirable publicity to whether it's firm or partner or article who passed. Network form, network guidelines we are going to see later. When it comes to visiting card, all the normal things are allowed. And if you're putting website address, don't write please click, guilty under clause 6. Don't write vision value statement, guilty under clause 6. Rest of the other things are covered by clause 7. Quick response code is allowed. Year of establishment not allowed. Photograph not allowed. Other logo not allowed. Correspondent of not allowed. ISO certification not allowed. These things won't be allowed. Now, recent clarification of clause 7, Kia firms QR. Knowledge partner, thank you advertisement. It can, name of CA can be given, name of firm cannot be given. You take ISO certification, but don't write it on visiting card. When it comes to associates of CA firm, of CA firm, you cannot write associates of CA firm correspond of any CA firm. That is not allowed. You make a network, get it registered, and then you can write affiliate of a network. That's a different thing. If a person is part in multiple firms, name of all the firms can be written. Quick response code can be given, but by scanning that, only that information should get saved, which is allowed on visiting card. Cases where clause 6 and 7 both are applicable. FB Chroma. If in a firm a new partner joins from a large firm, he is a tax expert, and if he sends circulars to everyone that come take services from us, a very new big partner has joined us, guilty under 6.7. Putting banner, guilty under 6.7. Sanitary celebration, newspaper ad for event allowed. Having a history book of the firm and printing 75 years, 100 years on visiting card, letterhead and sending it to everyone, 6 and misconduct in 6 and 7. Giving data for ranking purpose, misconduct 6.7. Offer document, be careful, otherwise it will become misconduct in 6.7. Sending letters to managing director and saying that you can asking for work and explaining that we are doing this with other companies also, gone under 6.7. Going and speaking at public forum is fine, firm name is fine. You cannot ask for work, you cannot use any other designation, you cannot highlight professional attainments. Clause 8 is applicable to all the types of audits. Not applicable to audit where a non-CA is doing audit, a previous auditor is non-CA, or special audit under Cooperative Society Act, special audit under tax audit, and other assignments like bookkeeping, consultancy, certification. There are 4 steps. Step number 1, you get the offer of audit. First ask, have you informed the previous auditor? If answer is no, then there's some suspicious thing. Go and do inquiry whether there is a valid reason. If there is no valid reason for changing, don't accept is a healthy practice. That means even if you accept, it is okay. Then step number 2, communication with previous auditor. It should be before acceptance, it should be in writing. Mode of communication should be such that there is a positive evidence of proof of delivery. Hand delivery and take acknowledgement, registered post acknowledgement due, or you can get acknowledgement through email of the previous auditor as per ICR records or last known email ID, or you can use UDIN portal, but guidelines are not yet issued. Special cases, if on acknowledgement you find premises locked, it will be deemed that delivery has happened. If you get on acknowledgement that no address found, it will be deemed that delivery has happened. But if previous auditor proves that it was not served or it is not his mistake, deeming fiction will not apply. If there is no tax audit in previous year, go to whoever was the auditor in previous years, in past years, whoever was the auditor, and go and talk to him, go and communicate. Do you have any problem? In special audit, we don't need to go and talk to anyone. It's a healthy practice to go and talk to stat auditor, regular tax auditor. Healthy practice, not mandatory. If there is a death of previous auditor, simply take a letter from the entity that death has occurred, that will be sufficient. In Companies Act 2013, there is no acceptance after appointment. There is consent before appointment. So these communications should be just done before sending the consent. Reply from previous auditor. It is responsible to reply. If you get reply, read it carefully. If there is no reply, wait for reasonable time and then accept the assignment. Now, reasons because of which you may not accept the assignment. If the person says that my removal and your appointment is not as per Companies Act, don't accept. Undisputed audit fees not paid, don't accept. There is an exception. If it's a sick company, that is accumulated losses are more than equal to or more than net worth, and it is there in existence for 5 years or more, then it is covered in exception. In case of qualified report, see where the previous auditor is correct or not. If he is appropriate, support him. If not, then support the client. If you are accepting fees on lower fees, if you are accepting assignment on lower fees, you are doing undercutting. Right now it is allowed, earlier it was not allowed. Acceptance letter, after analyzing everything, send acceptance letter. In case of government audits, if there is a tight time schedule, and then you first send the communication, don't wait for reasonable time, give conditional acceptance. Subject to what reply we get, you can get conditional acceptance. Clause number 9 is applicable only to company audit. Before accepting company audit, ensure with the help of documents, notices, resolutions, copies, minutes that removal of the previous auditor and appointment of new auditor is appropriate. Unjustified removal guidelines. If CA is leaving on his own will, he is resigning, not offering himself for next appointment, he should send the reasons to board of directors. If there are professional reason, he will send reasons to board of directors, and copy should be sent to ICI. It's incoming auditor's obligation to obtain and read it. Then if removal is against his will, he's removed and he is not reappointed when he has offered himself, then in this case communication should directly go to ICI and incoming auditor should read it. Ethical Science Board is there to read all these things, understand, get more information and inform council what should be done. In case of removal of auditor by government or statutory authorities, same process, going against will be applicable. We cannot, clause number 10, we cannot charge fees on percentage basis unless it is contingent or based on percentage of profits. Exception, Akshay Kumar took certain management consultancy services, registered cooperative society, raised certain financial services, took certain financial services, then went for production, used cost optimization services, after sale used debt recovery services, while paying taxes used asset valuation, direct tax under direct tax and duties, and after some year when everything got over, he took service of receiver and liquidation. Any other service which CA Institute says. Institute has said that acting as insolvency profession is allowed. It will be charging percentage basis of recovery is allowed. If you are giving non-assurance services to non-clients, non-audit clients, again percentage base will be allowed. Clause 11, you can go in CA in practice, CA profession. You can go as per regulation 190A or 191. You can become director, provided your partner is not auditor. Regulation 190A, general permission, serve Cameron Payne. You can become surveyor, loss assessor. You can do job employment under CA firm. You can go for recovery consultant banking sector. You can go for valuation of paper of any exam. You can become editor of professional journal. Then you can go for attending classes. You can go for authorship of books and articles. You can go for becoming MP, MLA. You can go for education institution, charitable education institution, honorary basis. Go for life insurance agency just for renewal premium commission. You can go for private tutorship. If you own agriculture land, go for farming. You can go for part-time, full-time tutorship under CA Institute. You can become notary public justice peace special executive magistrate. Then things you can do after taking approval. Lemon fee. You can become lecturer for any other course other than ICI in ICI premises auspices. Then if you want to go for job, take permission, and one condition, no substantial interest of you or your relatives. Then if you want to do anything apart from this, take permission from executive committee. If you want to become managing director or whole-time director, then permission is required and there should not be substantial interest of you or your relatives. If you wanted to do job in a non-business entity charitable organization, permission will be required. If family business comes on you, prove that it is not, you didn't start it, it has devolved on you, you are not actively involved, you may continue into practice. Then if you want to teach into any other education institution, COP will be required. Education institution. If you want interest in education institution, then in that case, okay, interest in an education institution, then again specific permission will be required. Editorship of journals other than professional journal, permission will be required. Council has right to deny permission to anyone. Part-time practice, they cannot train articles, they cannot sign reports and certificates and financial statements. Set, those who have taken specific permission, all will come in part-time practice. Those who are doing job under CA firm in practice, again part-time practice. Those who are teaching, if it exceeds 25 hours a week, again they will be in part-time practice. Relative will be ascendants, descendant, brother, sister and husband, wife. As per clause 4, father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter and spouses. Substantial interest, take your own holding of relative and holding of the organization where you are having substantial interest. Together see the holding. If a person is not designated, if a person is not designated but does all the work like whole time director or managing director, he will be deemed to be MD or whole time director. Clarifications of clause number 11, they first focus on directors. We already seen that if you want to become a director simpliciter, you don't need any specific permission, but then ensure you or your partner should not be auditor. If you want to become MD or whole time director, you need specific permission and need to fulfill one condition. Fulfill one condition that your relative should not have substantial interest. We have seen this thing. Then we saw that auditor of the subsidiary company cannot become director of the holding company. That's not allowed. A person can become promoter, fine. He can become promoter director, fine. He can be a signatory to AOA, MOA, that is absolutely fine. Till the time his work is part-time director, non-executive director, it is absolutely fine. Then a person can have business, family business in his name, absolutely fine. But then certain condition, he can keep family business in his name. He need to prove that he didn't start that business. It is not his business. It devolved on him because of inheritance or partition or succession. Then it can come as a partner, a proprietorship, partnership, or he has to become karta or member of HUR. Any way it can come. Prove that he is not actively involved. Give all this proof to regional offices and request will be processed. He will be able to have business in his name. What about trading activity? When it comes to equity and derivatives, he can trade for himself. He can trade for himself, but he cannot trade for the clients. When it comes to commodity derivatives, he cannot trade for himself. He cannot trade for client. It's very speculative. It's speculative. You cannot do it for yourself and your clients also. Then cases under clause, we have seen that cases. Then we saw clause number 12. Clause number 12, who can sign balance sheet? So we have seen that when it comes to signing financial statement, balance sheet, P&L, whether it is assurance services, we are commenting on reliability of the data, financial or non-financial, may be required by the law or may be required by the client. Or maybe we are giving consultancy services expressing professional opinion. It can be signed only by CA in practice and he should be partner of the firm to preserve quality. All important documents should be signed by CA in practice who is a partner. Now when it comes to signing, section 26 says that if non-CS does forgery on behalf of CA firm, then again, because it is also related to signing, always specify section 26 along with clause 12. Always specify section 26. Then routine document is absolutely fine. When it comes to correspondences, sending audit queries or questionnaires, or when things are received, sending acknowledgements or initialing or stamping vouchers, then making observation draft financial statement, raising bills or attending tax proceedings, it is allowed. It can be delegated. It can be done by employees or articles. Then first schedule part 2, it is for chartered accountants in service. Clause number 1, CA in service cannot share emoluments with anyone, that is not allowed. He cannot share with the placement consultancy agencies. Then clause 2, if CA is employed by a company, firm or person M, they are paying to A square BC, that is A for advocates, agents, brokers, another CA, custom, if they are paying or giving benefits to them, CA in service cannot accept share of such payment or benefits. That is not allowed. It is applicable both to people in part-time employment or full-time employment. It doesn't matter. So he cannot take referral fees, etc. from the lawyers, so on. Then first schedule part 3 is applicable to CAs in general, to all the chartered accountants, whether in practice or whether in service. Clause 1. If a person is not a FCA but he goes and presents to everyone he's a FCA, he will be guilty under clause 1. Then clause 2, if he is not replying, not responding to orders and letters of the eight authorities, you can say 4 plus 4. So ICI, below that council, below that quality review board, below that committee, if you're not replying to them or not replying to appellate authority, below that disciplinary committee, below that board of discipline, below that disciplinary directorate, to 4 plus 4, 8, then in that case it will be a professional misconduct. Then clause 3, if you're giving false information while approaching another CA in practice or applying for tender or any advertisement as allowed under clause 6, or you're giving false information, in the write-up as allowed by clause 7, then you will be guilty of professional misconduct. You are misusing the opportunities given by clause 6 and 7. By clause 6 and 7, then we have first schedule part 4 clause 1. If a chartered accountant is convicted by court in India or outside India and punished with imprisonment not exceeding 6 months, it's other misconduct under clause 1. If a chartered accountant does clause 2, then if a clause 2, if chartered accountant does something which brings disrepute to the institute, it's other misconduct under clause 2. Then we saw second schedule. Chris Gale is for confidentiality. Rohit Sharma is for reports on financial statements should be examined or reviewed by responsible people. Then Flintoff is for forecasts, and projections. Sachin is for substantial interest. MS Dhoni, that is for material facts omitted and you don't report it, it's a misconduct. Then motor car racing is for material misstatement, not reported, misconduct. Golf is for gross negligence, misconduct. Soccer, sufficient appropriate information not collected, misconduct. Actuary, auditing procedure not followed, misconduct. Basketball, money not kept in separate bank account, misconduct. Then second schedule part 2 culminates with Kapil. If there's a contravention of CA Act, its rules, regulations, guidelines, misconduct. Candy Crush, if confidentiality is not preserved, if confidentiality is not preserved, okay, if it is not preserved, it will be but that is only for CAs in service. Then Facebook, if you give false information to authorities, misconduct. Mobile, if there is money defalcation, it will be a misconduct. Then second schedule part 3, it's over if it is again it is for other misconduct. Imprisonment more than 6 months, it will be a misconduct here in other misconduct. Second schedule part 1 is applicable to all the CAs in practice. Clause 1, should not disclose confidential information obtained during the course of doing professional assignment. Only 2 exceptions are there. If it is required by law, if law specifically says go and give this information, and second, if it is permitted by client, consent is given by client. We can share with client, or if permission is given by the client. Now there are further discussions. Special discussion 1 is for disclosure of information. If it is his professional duty to write something in reports or certificate which is approved in engagement letter, that means consent is given by the client. You can definitely do that, whether the reporting is to the client or any outside authorities. In other cases, consent will be required. It should be taken from competent people. If it's a proprietorship firm, take it from proprietor. If it's a partnership firm, taken from the partner. If it's a company, take it from board of directors. And board of directors may delegate to MD, then you can take it from MD. What about sharing of working papers? Its working papers are ownership of working papers lies with the auditor, whoever are the auditor, principal auditor, branch auditor, or subsidiary auditor, or internal auditor. It's their property. They are not under any obligation, to share these working papers with anyone. Okay, and if they want to share, they can definitely share with the client, or with client's consent, they can share it with others. Then there is a controversy with respect to NOCLAR. NOCLAR says that if imminent breach is there, very big breach is there, you can go and report. You can go and report to the outside authorities. But here it says that don't report till required by law. So they appear to be contradictory. Soon there should be clarification on that. Then clause 2. To preserve quality, they say that report on financial statement can be given only if examination or review or review of financial statements and the whole work is done by CA himself, or partner, or employee in supervision of CA, or another CA in practice. If these 4 people, they do the examination or review, then only signing can be done. There is no specific question for clause 2. So if you find that audit is not done properly, certification is not done properly, or any area is not done properly, apply clause 7, gross negligence, clause 8, sufficient appropriate evidence not accepted, and clause 2. That means work is not, examination is not done, and review is not done by proper person. Clause 3, forecasts and projections. We can definitely give reports on forecast projection. Okay, what are the prohibitions? We cannot vouch accuracy, we cannot comment on the outcome, we cannot give guarantee surety this is going to happen. We can give report should be as per SA 3400. You should talk about the assumptions that we saw, supporting documents, we saw the logics of the assumptions, supporting documents, and they look reasonable and the assumptions are realistic. That should speak about the ingredients and not the outcome. Can we prepare forecast and at the same time give opinion? No. Earlier it was possible when guidance note was applicable. Now SA 3400 is applicable, and doing both the things simultaneously is not allowed. When answering the question, you have to see the wordings. When you answer the questions, you have to see the wordings. As per wording, you have to answer whether guilty or not. If wordings are not given, give conditional answer from both point of view. Then when it comes to prospectus, you have to apply clause 3. Apart from clause 3, you need to ensure that guidance note on reports in prospectus 190 need to be followed. If you follow that, you will automatically comply with the Companies Act and SEBI ICDR requirements. Then we have clause number 4, that if CA in practice is having substantial interest himself or his relatives or his partners or the firm in any entity, he should not go and do audit. If there is a close relationship, he should not do audit. It is applicable to all the assurance assignment. Whenever you report on reliability of the information, financial, non-financial, as per law, or as per requirement clause, as required by the client assurance services, everywhere clause 4 will be applicable. Everywhere clause 4 will be applicable, so be careful. Then we spoke about substantial interest. It is explained 20% or more. If the client is not a company proprietor partner, if a CA himself is proprietor partner, cannot do audit. If relative or partner are proprietor or partners partners having substantial interest, again cannot do audit. In case of companies, simply think about disqualifications: disqualification of officer employee, disqualification of partner employee, officer employee, disqualification of shareholders, shareholding, disqualification of relative sitting as a KMP or director. All these situations are covered into substantial interest. Simple clarifications: lecturer, full-time, part-time lecturer cannot do audit, employee cannot do audit, uh, partner is a employee or trustee cannot do audit. If member himself, if a CA is a member of the trust, cannot do audit. Liquidator cannot do audit. One who is writing books of account cannot do audit. Internal auditor cannot do statutory audit, cannot do GST audit, cannot do tax audit, cannot do cost audit. Director, after leaving directorship, cannot do audit for 2 years. Similarly, there disqualification in Income Tax Act also. Then statutory audit can do system audit, provided system auditor is not checking financial information and systems. Statutory auditor tax auditor cannot do valuation of unquoted equity shares both at the same time. Then internal auditor cannot be doing accounting at the same time. Internal auditor of the company cannot internal auditor of the company can be doing statutory audit of PF trust, but vice versa, internal audit of the PF trust cannot do statutory audit of the government company. Then concurrent audit cannot do bank audit. Then concurrent auditor of the sponsor bank cannot do statutory audit of the RRB. Stock auditor cannot do bank audit. If after due date amount on credit card outstanding more than 1 lakh, cannot do bank audit. If you have taken loan on the base of FD, cannot do bank audit. Before accepting any assignments, ensure that requirement of law and all legal documents like AOA, MOA, deeds are fulfilled. Before accepting, ensure that regulatory approvals are obtained, approval of the proprietor, partners, shareholders are obtained, and appointment is valid. The definition of relatives as per AS 18: father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, and spouse. Clause 5. If material things are omitted in any financial statement document. Second, chart accountant in practice is aware about it. Third, he is not fulfilling his professional duty, he is not putting it in his report, then it will be professional misconduct under clause 5. When it comes to materiality, you have to see SA 320, you have to see what financial reporting framework says. You need to ensure that due importance is given to amount and nature of the item to determine the materiality. It is applicable to all the assurance assignment as covered in clause number 4. Clause number 6, if there is a material misstatement in financial statement or any document and chart accountant is aware about it, he's knowing this thing and he's not performing his professional duty, is not putting it in the report or not communicating it with people, he will be guilty under clause 6. Clause 7, if chart accountant in practice is not working diligently, there's a gross negligence, he will be guilty under clause 7. Number 1, he is not going for work, he is not going and representing client in tax proceedings. Second, he is going for work, but then he is not able to identify obvious misstatements and problems in books of accounts and financial statements. He is going to work, he is doing the work, but then he is not completing work on time. Then next, maybe he's completing, but then he's signing balance sheet P&L before it is signed by board of directors. Then maybe he's signing two sets of balance sheet and P&L, for the same company, same period. Then he's saying in his audit report that subject to the notes, but there are no notes in the audit report. Then he's sending report through cash on delivery. Now that's not professional. Clause 8, if you're not collecting sufficient appropriate evidence for your opinion, for your reporting, it's a misconduct under clause 8. If lack of information is so much that you should negate expression of opinion, that means you should give disclaimer, but you're not doing it, again it will be guilty under clause number 8. Whenever a particular audit is not done properly, particular certification work is not done properly, or any area is not done properly, apply 7, 8 and 2. Clause number 9, if chart accountant practice is not performing his work as per generally accepted audit procedures come from engagement quality standards, statements on auditing, guidance on auditing, general clarification, practice manual studies and other papers, then he should put it in his report with proper reasons. Okay, not following audit procedure, if you're not following audit procedure, simply mentioning it in audit report is not the solution. You have to give reasons. Only when the reasons are justified and it proves that it is not mistake of the auditor, but it is because of circumstances or mistake of management, then only he will be saved. So reasons are important. Now, whenever you see that any particular audit report, certificate not properly checked, any item not properly checked, apply 782. If the focus is on any audit procedure is not properly performed, apply 789. Clause number 10. If money is received from the client, for fees or remuneration, including advance, then there are no restrictions. No need to keep in any separate bank account. You can put it in any account you want. You can use it. Second, you can use it in any way you want. Then if money is received for expenses intended to be spent in reasonably short time, then no need to put it on the separate bank account. You can put in common account, but it should be used within reasonable time for proper purpose. If money is received for expenses other than to be used in short span of time, then it should be kept in separate bank account and it should be used within reasonable time for proper purpose. If money is received other than remuneration or expenses, then it should be kept in separate bank account and it should be used in reasonable time for proper purpose. It can come from it can be for investments, it can be for purchase sale of property, it can be in the capacity of liquidator or trustee. Then second schedule part 2 is applicable to CAs in general. Clause 1, If chart account contravenes CA Act or regulations or guidelines under it, it will be a misconduct under clause 1. You cannot apply clause 1 everywhere. If there is a non compliance and if it is not covered in any other clause, then only clause 1 will be applied. Then we have regulations related to articles, registration of article, regulation 47. When you give articleship, don't ask for, CN practice cannot ask for premium, he cannot ask for security deposit, he cannot ask for loan, he cannot ask for loan, he cannot he cannot give articleship without COP, he cannot cross vacancy, he cannot go beyond vacancy. Then when it comes to working hours, when comes to working hours, flexible hours are withdrawn. Time should start from between 9 to 11, should end between 5 to 7. It should be 35 hours in a week excluding lunch break. If there are emergency situation, very high workload is there, it can increase but not beyond 45 hours per week. If you're going beyond 35 hours per week, then compensatory leave should be given. When in articleship, during articleship time, should not attend any other school, any other college or other institution, including travel time, and should not pursue any other course, training, business, occupation unless permitted by the council. Stipend should be paid monthly in bank account. It should be paid through account pay check, or money should be deposited in the account. Regulation related to CAs: first, complete continuing professional education number of hours, advised not to take classes between 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. Then obtain peer review certificate for audit of listed companies. Put FRN, MRN, UDIN in all reports and certificates. Whenever guideline is broken, you should apply clause 1. Then clause 2, it is for CAs in service. They may be doing service with company, firm or person. Don't disclose confidential information unless required by law or permitted by employer. Or everything is similar to clause number 1, which is for confidentiality of CA in clause number 1, part 1, second schedule, which is for CA in practice. Clause 3, if CA chart account gives false information in the form of information statement, written or any form to ICI, its council or quality review board or committee or appellate authority, disciplinary committee, board of discipline, disciplinary directorate, he will be guilty under clause 3. If there's a money embezzlement, if he has done embezzlement of money, stealing money which he got in professional capacity, then it will be misconduct under clause 4. Then second schedule part 3 is other misconduct. If convicted by civil or criminal court and punishable with imprisonment exceeding 6 months, then it's the other misconduct. Council guidelines, new tab of clans, N stand for company audit assignment. Number of assignment, total number of assignment should not exceed SNA. SNA is 30. For firm, it is number of partner into 30. Number of partners at the time of accepting assignment. If part-time or part-time full-time employment, then limit is 0. If part-time practice, in case of partner, limit will be 0. If you are into multiple firms, including everything, you should not exceed SNA, that is 30. Exemption, OPC and dormant company, joint audit will be counted as 1, H1 branches as 1, multiple branches as 1. Keep record to ensure compliance. Section 141 limit is 24 types of exclusion. OPC, small company, dormant company, private company having paid up capital less than 100 crores. Private companies will get exemption only when annual return is filed under section 92 and financial statements are filed under section 137. In practical life, first exclude 4 types of companies and apply limit of 20, then exclude 2 types of companies, then apply limit of 30. Okay, you can do unlimited audit of OPC and dormant companies, and extra limit of 10 can be used for small company and private company having paid up capital less than 100 crores. Then undisputed audit fees. If undisputed audit fees is not paid to the predecessor auditor, then you cannot accept the assignment. Exception you can accept in case of sick units. It is applicable to company audit and other audit under laws. Undisputed audit fees. When it comes to undisputed audit fees, it means fees which is outstanding appearing in financial statement, including other expenses, which is signed by both auditor and the client. SIC unit means registered not less than 5 years. Registered not less than 5 years, and accumulate losses equal to or more than the net worth. UDIN is brought so that malpractices and fake certificate problem can be solved. It's an innovative solution. Get full-time COP holders have to get them registered on UDIN portal, and every report certificate they sign need to get registered. Unique number will be generated. It should be put along with FRN MRN. Third parties can verify it through UDIN portal. It's applicable to all assurance certificates, test functions. Then tax audit, minimum tax audit numbers. SNA you should not exceed SNA is 60. For firm it is 60 to number of partners. Then number of partners at the time of taking assignment. If partner into full-time part-time employment, limit is 0. If in part-time practice, limit will be 0. If you are in multiple firms, then total limit should not exceed 60. Limit of one partner can be used by another. It cannot be used in company audit. In tax audit, it can be done. It is including corporate, non-corporate assignments. If you are doing audit of 2 financial years of the same client, then it will be counted as 2. Audit under 44 AD, ADA and AE will not be counted. Joint audit will be counted as 1, H1 branch as 1, one or more branches as 1, and keep record. Distribute work to maintain quality. If there is an unjustified removal, council or its committees can give instruction to incoming auditor not to accept the assignment. They will have to comply with it. Otherwise, non-compliance of council guidelines. Maintenance of books of accounts will be required irrespective of whether 44AA, 44AB is applicable or not. It doesn't matter. And you have to maintain, books of accounts. This is over and above requirement to maintain record of audit assignments. Corporate form of practice is allowed. You can make MCC for that. You can make MCC. We have studied traditional work, accounting, auditing, taxation only in traditional form, but consultancy work in any of these forms, traditional or MCC. When it comes to formation procedures are given, formation and forms and procedures are issued by ICI since 2006. First, name need to be approved from ICI, then register company with ROC. While registration, you can become MD, whole-time director, no permission required. Your family relatives can hold any quantum of shares, no problem. You will not be in part-time practice, you will be in full-time practice. Then you need to get the name registered with ICAI. It should be functioning, it should be only for management consultancy company. No accounting, audit, taxation work will be done. And MCC cannot give prohibited services. Things which cannot be done by proprietor or partnership firm, same things cannot be offered by MCC. No misuse. Then they have to comply with 6 and 7, and they need to ensure that non-audit fees is below statutory audit fees. Logo, rounded rectangle, white color background, letters in blue, upside down tick mark in green color, no change in design color, and no rotation allowed. When it comes to indebtedness, CA in practice, partners, firm and relatives of CA in practice or partner cumulatively taking together indebtedness, guarantee or security, everything taken together should not exceed the limit. Follow the limit given by the law. Company audit limit is 5 lakhs, tax audit limit is 0, for relative it is 1 lakh. If law is silent, then the limit will be 1 lakh. Internal audit you can use 1 lakh, GST audit now not applicable, 1 lakh, corporate audit 1 lakh. When it comes to employment, there should not be gross negligence. If gross negligence, it's a breach of council guidelines. Network guidelines we're going to see later. Tender guidelines we have seen with clause 6. Then statutory auditor should ensure one thing. Statutory auditor of listed company, below that government company, below that PSU, public sector unit, below that public company having turnover 50 crores or more, they should not accept statutory audit if statutory audit fees is less than the audit fees of other work, services and assignment fees of the auditor and associate concerned taken together. When it comes to other works, service and assignment, management, consultancy and other professional services will be taken. It should not include earnings. It should not include audit under other laws, certification work, certification work of done by statutory auditor, any representation before authority. When it comes to associate concern, if CA partners or relatives are sitting as a partner in a partnership firm, sitting as a director in any company, or having substantial interest of any entity, all those will be considered as associate concern. Council Guidelines on Advertisement 2008. Wow, Corona is dead is the shortcut. W is for write up. Write up is simply piece of information in writing where CA chartered accountant in practice expresses about himself and services he offers. Institute is not going to approve it, is not going to take any responsibility. It should be strictly as per the guidelines. So first comes the logo. It is CA logo mandatory, whether it is a firm or whether it's an individual. Then firm details, write the firm name, FRN, year of establishment. Also, you can write affiliation with the network, both for firm and individual. When it comes to number of partners, employees and articles, you write number of partners, then below that CAs, below that other professional articles and other employees. Same in case of individual. Then you have to give personal details, partner or individual details, name of the partner, MR of the partner, age, date of becoming ACA, date of becoming FCA, date of taking COP, other qualifications, languages, passport style photo, group position held as director MD in management concerns as a company, same for the individual. Services provided, what kind of service provided, but no name of the clients and no fees details. Address, telephone number, phone number, professional address, website, email, and then finally authentication, signature, place, date. There's certain rules they have to follow, guidelines. Fair value method, F stand for font size not exceeding 40. Then V for violation, it should not be violation of C Act rules regulation. Membership number, FRN number is mandatory. Exaggerating claims is not allowed. Testimonials or endorsements, testimonial endorsement fees charge should not be given. It should be honest and truthful. Then it should not be disrespectful, downgrading, disparaging towards other. It should not bring disrepute to the institute. You can definitely use online platforms of news agencies, banks, financial institutions to give advisory services. They can, CA in practice can collaborate with them, can give consultancy through them. His name can come, firm name can come, but the condition, chartered accountant should not come. It should not highlight the professional attainments and no contact details should be provided. Then website guidelines, preliminary matters. You are, CA in practice is free to create website. No need to take any permission, no need to intimate anyone. No format is fixed. Any design, any color, any format is allowed. Then, important, name and content. Name should be as close to the firm name, trade name. Then firm detail should be given. Firm name, year of establishment, address of the firm, contact details. Then people details. Give details of the partner, name of the partner, MRN, year of qualification, other qualification, area of experience, contact details. Area of experience only on pull basis. Similar details should be given for employee also. Again, area of experience on pull basis. Number of articles on pull basis, and whatever photographs are there for partner, employee and article, it should be passport style photograph. Then details of the services. Give details of the services they offer, assignments they have handled till now. Don't need to give details of the clients and the fees. But if it is required by any law, rules, regulation in India or outside India, give it specified on the website, but in italics also specify under which law, rules, regulations section this information is given. After making the, and then other information, you can give about the work available, job vacancies, then knowledge, articles, bulletin boards, education videos, chat rooms, then links. 3 types of links are allowed. Social networking site links are allowed. Then ICI, council, regional branch council links, then government authorities and other professional bodies. 3 types of links are allowed. Links to any association or Rotary Club, Lions Club, Chamber of Commerce, JC's Club is not allowed. Unwanted information like cricket score, horoscope or advertisements of any other website are not allowed. It is mandatory to put last when it was updated last. After making website, it should work on pull model, search model. It should not be push model. Information should not be circulated through email. It should not be, no need to issue any circular advertisement to promote website. Website address can be put on the professional stationery visiting card letterhead. Maintain secrecy of the data. It should not be non-compliance of the C Act rules regulation. Information should be as close as possible to ICA record. Directories, definitely name can come in directories, whether it's printed or electronic form. He can apply for it with or without payment. If it's belong to a particular city, it should be open for all in the city, and he should apply only if it belongs to that city. Name should appear in category chartered accountant. It should be in alphabetical order. It should not be different. It should not be different or prominent. It should not lead to publicity or advertisement. There's an exemption. You can give newspaper ad, name of the firm can come, but ad should be for limited purpose. It should be a simple ad for recruitment in his own office, or on behalf of client for recruitment, or for buying or selling his property, or because of he being liquidator, receiver, trustee to sell business properties. There should not be expressions as a well-known firm. It should not be highlighting, and it should not claim he is superior than others. Aggregators, it is not allowed to get registered himself on the aggregators where they aggregate businessmen, technicians, maintenance workers, or event organizers. We cannot go and become part of that aggregation. Example, Urban Club. Special directories allowed just like other directories. KYC is mandatory for attest function. Attest function includes audit, review, agreed upon procedure, and compilation. It should focus on three things: identity of the person, business, and engagement information. When it is individual, name of the person, PAN card, Aadhaar card, business description, last audited copy of financial statement of the business, and then type of transaction. If it's a corporate, name of the company and its address, name of the parent company, then PAN number, company identification number, director details, director DIN number should be provided, business description, last audited financial statements, and then type of engagement. If it's a non-corporate, like a partnership firm, name, address, then PAN number of the firm, then partner details, partner PAN number, Aadhaar card, and then business details, and then again type of information. Self-regulatory measure, shortcut dumb junior. Now these are recommendatory, it is not mandatory. Disclosure of interest. If you are doing statutory audit, you should disclose to the client that how much you are earning directly, indirectly, through non-audit fees, through other firms, other partnership or proprietor firms. Minimum scale of fees is recommendatory. How much chartered accountant should charge for different types of work, it is given at the end of guidance note on tax audit. It is not mandatory. In branch audit, don't take a big team of 10 or more. Instead of that, give work to the local firm to have that they should do the work with a smaller team. But this prohibition will not be applicable if records of branch are maintained at head office and significant part of the operation is carried at the branch. For joint audit, in larger companies, they are saying that they are encouraging that there should be joint audit, and in joint audit, a smaller firm should be a joint auditor having less than 5 members. And if client wants to do such thing, senior firm should not object. Ratio should be maintained between CA and non-CA staff of 1 to 5. In non-CA staffs, articles, typist, peon, other person not involved in professional work should not be counted. Network guidelines. Network means it's where people, entities are closely connected to each other, working together. That's a network. It's a larger structure and people are working together. Not all the larger structures or association can be called as network. Mere referring of the work is not a network. Mere developing few products or technical material is not a network, or simply doing any assignment together is not a network. It is bigger. There should be mutual cooperation, sharing of profits, costs, resources, common strategies, common brand name, etc. Now, whether a particular structure or arrangement is network or not, you have to apply reasonable informed third party test. If all the information is given to reasonable informed third party, and if the third party concludes that they are working together closely, then it will be considered as network. So judgment will be applicable. For practical life, For practical life, they developed the concept of deemed network for simplicity and ease of working. Any arrangement where they say that it aimed at cooperation, they will work together, support each other, and it is aimed at sharing of profits, cost, or significant part of resources. Sharing should not be immaterial cost. Sharing should not be cost of developing one or few things. Or there's common ownership, common control of management, common business strategy, common brand name, common quality control. You can join only that network. You can join only that network which is registered with the institute. If you join any other network, you will be punished for misconduct. Meaning of the network is same as deemed network. Forms of network, it can be mutual entity, simply an agreement that they will work together. They will simply work together. There is no separate entity representing the network, and work cannot be done by that network. Work will be done by individual entities. Then it can be in the form of partnership firm, where there is a partnership firm representing a network. There are 20, number of partners should not be more than 20. There can be LLP to represent network, even that is possible. Or there can be company. Now, who can join? Individual CA can join, proprietorship can join, and partnership can join, but they should join only one network. If there are firms where the common partner situation, they should join only one network. Joining only one network is important. Network can decide to have their own name, that's fine. Their name will be distinguished from other firms. In firms, we use at the end and associates, and company and associates. In network, we will use and affiliates. If it is a partnership firm or a mutual entity, we'll use AB and affiliates, LLP, AB affiliates, LLP. And if it's company, AB affiliates, private limited or limited. Rules of Regulation 190 and Companies Act, rules Regulation 190 and Companies Act with respect to name selection will be applicable. It should not lead to publicity. It should not be, does not being distributed to the institute. It should not show that others are bad. If the name is inappropriate, they will reject it. If anytime they feel that name is inappropriate, they can cancel the registration. They can cancel the name. Name should be rejected or approved within 30 days. Even if name is approved, that doesn't mean you can start practicing on that name. You need to have legal entity before you start practicing on that name. You can form your network with entities outside India and get it registered. You have to fill up form D within 30 days when you make it. All the firms, Indian or foreign, they should join only one network, and if there are common partner situation, all such firms should join one network only. If there is change in constitution of the network within 30 days, it should be informed to the institute in form C. Network should ensure ethical compliances. If any of the firm is acting as statutory auditor, then there is list of activities that statutory auditor cannot do for the client. Other entities in the firm, other entities in the network won't be able to give those prohibited services. You cannot use network to bypass ethical requirement. Then next, we have seen that non-audit fees should not be non-audit fees should not be more than the audit fees. It should not be more than the audit fees. And when we see non-audit fees, we see non-audit fees earned by the auditor and its associate concern and common partner firms. Now, non-audit fees earned by other firms in the network other than the statutory auditor and its associates, it should not be 3 times the statutory audit fees. If any firm in the network attracts rotation, then none of the firms can accept the assignment where rotation is applicable. They can use the word network firms, but they have to follow the advertisement guidelines as applicable to CA firms. Once network is formed, it is assumed that consent is received. No need to go to the client and take the consent. They should have their own bylaws where they specify compensation. If the resources are given by any firm, how they will be compensated, whether peer review is mandatory, how library will be maintained, how dispute will be settled, how database for tech assignments will be maintained, how much resources will be required to handle the network, how administration will be handled, how much fees people give for administration cost, how training material will be developed, how technical director will be appointed, what will be his responsibilities, how software will be developed, how managing committee will be there, minimum maximum number of people, how engagement partner will be selected for any work, and also about the newsletter.